Well, the term esotericism actually is equivalent in a certain way to the term occultism, in the sense that they really both represent the search for that which is hidden. And in a certain sense, it's really the whole journey, in a way. The spiritual journey, in a way, is an esoteric journey, because we're inwardly trying to move ourselves to a deeper, subtler place deep within ourselves, and it's a place where the higher part of us, the soul, is found, but it is not obvious. It's more of a hidden dimension. And so esotericism is the science of that inner journey to discover the hidden dimensions of your true identity. And it involves both a experience of love and heart in the process, but also an acute relationship to higher mind. So esotericism is the search for the hidden aspects of identity deep inside, as well as applying the mind and the heart equally in that search.
The question arises, what is esotericism? And what does it mean to live the esoteric life? I think we have to realize that although we think the human being is intelligent and highly developed, at least on our planet, that what we perceive of reality is tiny compared to what's there. The esotericist wants to go deeper, far deeper, and esotericism is the art and science of going ever more deeply into the perception and understanding of reality.
So this is precisely what esotericism is about. It is a study of the subtle. It is a study of that which is hidden until it is not, until it is revealed. So esotericism looks beyond the form to the soul of the thing. It looks beyond the form until the form falls away and we can feel or sense or connect with that something else. So the study of, when we study esotericism, we are studying energy. We are studying what is beneath what is apparent. And we are experiencing one another as energetic beings as opposed to just form beings or personality beings. So at its greatest levels, esotericism reveals that which is hidden and makes it visible so that we can more fully integrate this wisdom and this love and this intelligence and this power into our daily lives.
Reality is hidden from our perceptual mechanism, but inside us we have faculties yet to be developed and already highly developed in very highly developed people, which can perceive far more of the world, the inner worlds, which do exist, than we can imagine. So the esotericist wants the picture of reality as it exists on progressively more inwardly developed planes of consciousness or states of consciousness, states of vibration, if you want to call them that. And so we try to perceive ever more deeply what's going on in there. The kingdom of heaven is within, and the esotericist wants to go within to perceive what are these higher dimensions which will complete, one day, our understanding of what reality is. The esotericist goes there. The esotericist dares to cultivate himself in such a way that he can enter and see what is hidden from the average perception. The esotericist knows we have inner faculties which most people don't know about and don't bother to cultivate. And the esotericist will cultivate those inner faculties so he or she can perceive the nature of the inner, beautiful, glorious worlds, which are responsible for everything we have right here, creatively, We wouldn't even have this world of the senses unless the esoteric causes, the inner, hidden, potent causes were there.
Esotericism as a concept has a few different levels. Probably as a word, it's something that creates more misunderstanding than understanding. Part of the reason is that it gives this idea of something that is deliberately hidden or deliberately disguised or masked. And so it has this whole background to cult type of thinking. Very often people stray into that sort of consideration. Probably what is most esoteric in each and every one of us, the most hidden thing in each and every one of us, would be who we are at the deepest level of our being. So very naturally, it's something that it takes some level of deepening of our understanding to actually come in contact with it. You hear things like the Buddha nature, as if it's this deeper dimension of our being, a truer dimension of our being, but one that is somehow just slightly out of reach. And so you have these traditions that have come into being throughout history, esoteric traditions, which speak to, first of all, what it is that this path leads toward, and then also how it is that somebody can interact with this nature in the way that will actually bring it to its fullest expression.
On the spiritual path, developing discernment is absolutely essential. There are things that are true about non-physical realities and spiritual processes. There are things that may be partially true, and there are things that are entirely false. But we have to be very careful with this, because it could simply be a matter in some cases that we are seeing things from a different perspective than another person or another group or teaching has. So it's very important that we don't mistake having discernment about truth and falsehood and mistake that for simply different perspectives. One of the statements in the Rosicrucian tradition is that we need to be able to see any reality from 12 different perspectives. It's like we're walking a circle of different perspectives around a central reality. And seeing it from all those different perspectives, we can illuminate different parts of the total whole. So, for example, with the concept of the blind man and the elephant, they are seeing different aspects of the elephant that then, once they understand that it is a pillar and a spear and a leaf, they can then inductively pull it all together into what the elephant actually is. Well, the spiritual world is the same sort of thing. The spiritual world is vast and multidimensional, has many, many different aspects beyond what the rational mind can grasp. And so we need to see different valid perspectives on it and bring that together to begin to understand these higher realities.
One of the places you see the word occult used is in science and in astronomy. You know, it is said that when, let us say, the moon is in position and the moon moves and it covers a star so you can't see the star, it is said that that star is occulted. It is hidden. It is hidden. So there are two levels of understanding it. In other words, there's the idea that occultism or esotericism has to do with the search for your own inner truth and who you are. What is behind that lunar nature of your own? You know, you and I, it is said that the personality is called a lunar instrument, and there's a long history of why it's called lunar. And in a way, we want to see beyond that lunar tendency to see the deeper light hidden behind it, which is the soul, you see?
And when, perhaps, through alignment, through a deep moment in meditation, something of those inner worlds flashes upon the ordinarily benighted consciousness, it is an astonishing thing. And then we awaken to the idea that we've been in a darkened room and we've thought it was all of reality. But there is a way. There is a way to cultivate the accurate scientific and also artistic perception of the inner worlds. And that's what the path of spirituality has been all about, to lead us from the obvious to that which is real and yet latent. We can go within using the age-old methods of meditation, which will force the veils upon our consciousness, which are really just, they are vibratory lack of resonance. If I have to see what a veil really is, it's all mathematical, really. And the trouble is we don't have the right numbers to penetrate the veils. But sometimes in meditation, the harmony between the inner and the outer can be achieved. And then, lo and behold, we have a new world, and we want to find that world, and we want to take the steps, whatever discipline is required, to penetrate into these worlds and live a larger life of consciousness and of realization, a life of joy, a life of bliss, because we know we are part of these inner worlds in our deep essential nature.
Esotericism is penetrating beyond all the surface aspects of our earthly life, penetrating beyond just the physical aspects to all the things that really matter. If we don't pursue the esoteric, we never get to the heart of what life is really all about. Esotericism is getting to the core question of who am I? Who am I as a conscious being living in the world for a finite amount of time in a physical body? Why am I here? What purpose is this? Without esotericism, we live a completely random, meaningless life. Esotericism is the path to begin to create meaning in our life and to begin to raise ourselves into a higher state of being.
I think in a very real sense, the esotericist is the person who has chosen to shine. That in many ways, we become aware that there is this light at the center that's covered over. And once we engage in this process, that gradually more and more of that light becomes revealed. So it's a process that's ongoing. It's a process that is also largely affected by our own sorts of choices. So we can speed it up, we can slow it down, but once we become conscious of it, we can never forget it. And so that's the thing that assures eventually that we'll succeed.